Welcome, explorers and seekers of lost knowledge. Let's step back in time to a city that was once the envy of the world, but ultimately met its downfall. Get ready to discover the rise and fall of the richest city in history, Babylon. Have you ever wondered what it would have been like to live in the height of luxury and wealth? To be a part of a city that was the envy of the world? Well, let's travel back in time to ancient Babylon, a city that was once the richest of all. But what led to its downfall? How did a city once so prosperous end up in ruins? In this video, we will answer these questions and discover the rise and fall of one of history's most fascinating civilizations. In modern-day Iraq, the city of Babylon was situated along the Euphrates River, about 50 miles south of Baghdad. The ancient Akkadian-speaking people of southern Mesopotamia founded it at approximately 2300 BC under the Amorite monarch Hammurabi, who ruled from 1792 to 1750 BC. Babylon rose to prominence as a military force. After capturing nearby city-states, Hammurabi united much of southern and central Mesopotamia under his control, founding the Babylonian Empire. Babylon was transformed by Hammurabi into a prosperous, strong, and well-known city. He produced one of the first and most comprehensive written law systems. It gave Babylon an advantage over other cities in the area and is known as the Code of Hammurabi. But Babylonia didn't last long. After Hammurabi's demise, the empire disintegrated and briefly became a minor kingdom. When did the Neo-Babylonian Empire exist? And who conquered the Neo-Babylonian Empire? The Neo-Babylonian Empire, also known as the Chaldean Empire, was a period of Mesopotamian history that lasted from 626 BC to 539 BC. It was ruled by the Chaldean dynasty, and its capital was Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar II was one of the most famous kings of this period, who expanded the empire and built many famous structures, including the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. The Neo-Babylonian Empire was conquered by the Persian Achaemenid Empire under Cyrus the Great, which marked the end of Babylon's reign as a major power in the ancient Near East. One of the 7 wonders of the ancient world is the enormous tangle of tiered trees, bushes, flowers, and artificial waterfalls, known as the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. However, archaeologists have found little proof of the gardens. It's not known where they were or even whether they ever existed. The Hanging Gardens may not have been in Babylon, as some researchers have discovered evidence to suggest. Rather, they may have been in the higher Mesopotamian city of Nineveh. Why is Babylon significant to Jewish history, and what was the impact of Babylonian captivity on the Jewish people? Nebuchadnezzar II abducted thousands of Jews from the city of Jerusalem and held them hostage in Babylon for more than 50 years after the Babylonians conquered the kingdom of Judah in the 6th century BC. After Cyrus the Great's Persian military overthrew the Neo-Babylonian Empire, many Judeans made their way back to Jerusalem. A Jewish community flourished there for more than 2,000 years, when some people decided to stay. In the 1950s, many people moved to the newly established Jewish state of Israel. The Babylonian captivity had a profound impact on the Jewish people, shaping their religious and cultural identity. During their time in Babylon, they developed the synagogue as a central institution and wrote much of the Hebrew Bible. Biblical texts in both Hebrew and Christian languages mention the city of Babylon. The Bible describes Babylon as a wicked city. The Babylonian exile is described in Hebrew texts, where Nebuchadnezzar is portrayed as a captor. The Tower of Babel tale is one of the most well-known biblical depictions of Babylon. The Old Testament account claims that people attempted to construct a tower to reach the skies. When God realized this, he demolished the tower, dispersed people around the planet, and made them speak various languages so they could no longer communicate with one another. Some academics suggest that a real-life ziggurat temple constructed to revere Marduk, the patron deity of Babylon, may have served as the model for the mythical Tower of Babel. Make sure to subscribe to History Flicks and dig up that bell icon so you won't miss any of our historical updates. What was the purpose of the Babylonian city walls? Are there any remains of the Babylonian city walls today? The Babylonian Empire saw a flourishing of art and architecture, particularly in the capital city of Babylon, which is also renowned for its impenetrable walls. The Babylonian city walls were built for protection and defense against invaders. They also served as a symbol of the city's power and wealth. Hammurabi first built walls around the city. The city was further reinforced by Nebuchadnezzar II with 3 rings of 40-foot tall or 12-meter walls. The walls of Babylon were so substantial, according to the Greek historian Herodotus, the chariot races were conducted on top of them. The metropolis behind the walls covered an area of 200 square miles, which is comparable to the current size of Chicago. 3 significant palaces were erected by Nebuchadnezzar II, and each was magnificently ornamented with blue and yellow glazed tiles. Additionally, he constructed a series of shrines, the biggest of which, known as SGL, was devoted to Marduk. The shrine was almost as tall as a 26-story office building at 280 feet, or 85 meters. There are few remains of the Babylonian city walls today, as much of the city was destroyed over time and later civilizations reused the bricks. Some remnants of the walls have been found in archaeological excavations, but much of the city's former grandeur has been lost to history. The Ishtar Gate was Babylon's principal entryway to its inner city. Bright blue glazed bricks with images of bulls, dragons, and lions were used to decorate the doorway. The city's grand processional way, a half-mile decorated corridor utilized in religious celebrations of the New Year, began at the Ishtar Gate. The spring equinox, which ushered the new year and the start of the growing season in ancient Babylon, was a significant event. Early in the 20th century, German researchers dug the gate's remnants, and using its original bricks, they built a replica of it in Berlin's Pergamon Museum. What led this amazing city to eventually disintegrate and almost vanish into history? The fall of Babylon occurred in 539 BC, when the city of Babylon was conquered by the Persian king Cyrus the Great. This marked the end of the Babylonian Empire and the beginning of the Persian Empire. The city of Babylon was one of the most powerful and wealthy cities in the ancient world, known for its impressive architecture and impressive hanging gardens. However, despite its strength, the empire was weakened by internal conflict and a series of attacks from neighboring peoples. Eventually, the Persians were able to defeat the Babylonian army and capture the city, leading to its fall. Another factor that contributed to Babylon's decline was its dependence on its vast empire for wealth and resources. The city's prosperity was built on the exploitation of its subjects, who were taxed heavily to support the lavish lifestyle of its ruling class. When the empire began to shrink, the city lost its source of wealth and resources, and its economy struggled. The city was also vulnerable to natural disasters, such as floods and earthquakes, which damaged its infrastructure and weakened its ability to recover. Additionally, the Tigris River, which flowed through Babylon, frequently changed its course, causing damage to the city's fertile farmland and disrupting its agriculture. Babylon's downfall was also hastened by military conquests. The city was repeatedly attacked and sacked by invading armies, including the Persians under Cyrus the Great in 539 BC. The city was destroyed, its palaces and temples looted, and its population enslaved. Under Saddam Hussein, the Iraqi government reconstructed parts of the historic city of Babylon, including one of Nebuchadnezzar's palaces by excavating its ruins. United States forces constructed a military installation on the ruins of Babylon following the 2003 invasion of Iraq. The facility reportedly caused serious damage to the archaeological site. According to the United Nations Office for Cultural Heritage, UNESCO, in 2009, the destination reopened to visitors. Babylon was once a symbol of wealth, power, and architectural prowess, but its eventual downfall serves as a cautionary tale of the impermanence of even the richest cities. Despite its grandeur, the city failed to adapt to changing circumstances and eventually lost its influence and prosperity. Today, the remnants of Babylon serve as a reminder of its once mighty empire and a testament to the cycles of rise and fall in human civilization. If you like this and like to see more of lost cities, check out our video about the lost city of the monkey god.